red is on. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Valerie Nielsen. I'm the Executive Director at the Palm Beach Transportation Planning Agency, and we're here for our public meeting for our federal certification. We're going to go around the room first to introduce the TPA staff that are here, and then we have a couple staff from FDOT, and then I'm going to pass it over to Carlos Gonzalez at FHWA to take it from there. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Andrew Euler.
Good afternoon, Andrew Euler, Deputy Director of Programs.
How you doing? Tony Nora from FDOT.
Christine Fasiska, FDOT District 4.
Brian Ruscher, Deputy Director of Multimodal Palm Beach Transportation Planning Agency.
Melissa Murray, Public Relations Director for Palm Beach Transportation Planning Agency.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Welcome to everyone and anybody that's online. My name is Carlos Gonzalez, and I'm the Transportation Specialist for Federal Highway Administration. And I'm here with Brittany Lavender. I believe she's online. And she's from FTA, Transportation Specialist. At the same time, we're Erica Thompson is here. She's Transportation Specialist, and Kathy Kendall, the Planning Team Leader. Together, we're going to lead this public involvement session. And before opening the session, I'd just like to explain a little bit about the transportation planning certification review process. For areas that are 200,000 or more, we conduct a certification review every 4 years. So the review is to see if the agency is complying with federal regulations and working with partners to meet those federal regulations. And partners are local agencies, FDOT, and FHWA and other agencies. So the primary purpose of this public involvement session is to hear your comments or your comments about the transportation planning process that's carried out by the Palm Beach TPA. So before we open it up, I'd just like to say that you could provide comments here in person, or I believe there'll be opportunities to comment online either today verbally, and I don't know if you have the chat open, and there'll be a 30-day comment period that federal Palm Beach TPA will have on their website, and we'll provide that information. We'll provide my contact information and my email, my phone number, and during that time, you're welcome to provide comments and provide any questions. As I mentioned, we're going to take comments. At the same time, the staff is here from FDOT and from the TPA to answer any questions that are project specific that you may want to ask. So we'll seek to answer those questions. And I'll hand it over to Amanda before you take questions, because we do not have any persons in the room. However, there's a few people in the I believe in the chat or in the video.
Thank you, Carlos. For those members who are participating virtually, please utilize the raised hand feature in the Zoom platform and accept the prompt to unmute yourself. Then remember to unmute your microphone once you are recognized. And if anybody does end up attending in person, you can fill out a public comment card in the back and then come up to the podium for your public comment as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. And if there's anybody in the queue, they'll be raising their hand. Is that what you said? And then providing that information verbally. Okay.
Correct. And I will flag for the members here in person a public comment with the public comment tent if I see a raised hand.
Thank you, Carlos. And I believe we have representation from, do we have Palm-Tran or FTA also virtually?
Yes, ma'am. FTA, we have Brittany Lavender joining us. And for Palm-Tran, it looks like we have Claudia online as well. Additionally, Chair Reed has joined us virtually.
Wonderful, thank you. And SFRTA, South Florida?
Yes, SFRTA has joined. They haven't accepted the promotion to panelist, but I think Vicky should be able to do that. And then I will also note that Allie Soul from Brightline has joined us.
Wonderful, thank you.
At this time, if there's anybody in queue and would like to raise their hand and provide your comments, Amanda will field that and introduce. And please introduce yourself and your agency if you represent an agency.
We do have two members who have raised their hand online. I'll go ahead and ask them to unmute and we'll go in that order. Allie,
Hi.
it looks like you're able to speak now.
Yes, thank you. Allie Soul, Vice President of Community Relations with Brightline. Brightline wanted to take the opportunity to provide public comment during this period to talk about our great partnership with the Palm Beach TPA. We partner with the Palm Beach TPA on numerous aspects, such as grant opportunities, educational outreach, rail safety promotion, improvement projects within the district, like quiet zones that the Palm Beach TPA has spearheaded for their municipalities along the corridor. But again, most importantly, the safety, education, and outreach component. We look at the Palm Beach TPA as, again, a great partner of ours, and we are thankful for their collaboration, especially at the staff level and then also at the board level from Chair Reed to all of the other members. We are continue to be thankful for this great partnership because while we are a private organization, we cannot do what we do without the help of the public. So on behalf of Brightline, again, we see the Palm Beach TPA as a great organization partnership for us. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Is there another person?
Yes.
Super. So, hi there. Kim Delaney from Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council. We're a partner agency to the Palm Beach TPA and are so proud to have one of the statewide leaders in transportation land use synergy in the form of the Palm Beach TPA. We partner extensively with the TPA, providing complementary planning and technical assistance to the TPA and the member local governments and partner agencies regarding transportation, land use, interconnectivity, accessibility, mobility, rail safety and education, the implementation of quiet zones, transit-oriented development, and related aspects of just improving the overall transportation picture for the county. The TPA does an outstanding job in public outreach, in convening partners to address complex challenges in Palm Beach County, and by doing so, setting an excellent example for the region. The Treasure Coast region that we cover includes Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River counties. And the TPA is also a leader in the efforts that extend to the south for Miami-Dade and Broward, included in the Tri-Rail service area and Brightline service area as well. We're available to address questions if needed, and otherwise happy to participate.
Okay. Given that we don't have that many people, do you have either man from SFRTA or a man from Treasure Coast? Do you have some examples? Because I know you do a lot of work together. Just some specific example, just because we could document that information, and because there's not that many folks in the room. Is there any either land use or examples of things you partner with the TPA?
Sure. Do you want me to go ahead and continue?
Yes,
TPA
yes,
staff?
please.
Okay,
Yes, please.
super. So I think one of the long-standing examples of regional leadership from the Palm Beach TPA has been its partnership with local governments and agencies to really dive into the land use transportation connections that are necessary to make for safer, more efficient transportation countywide. Easy examples, I'll use the Lake Worth Road Corridor study as one of the examples. That's a DOT project, a corridor slated for a RRR or rehabilitation and resurfacing through FDOT in the standard work program. The TPA offered the Planning Council's assistance. We exist as a resource to the TPA to convene the local governments on the corridor, county and municipalities, the agencies, Palm Tran, FDOT, the major land users along the corridor, including Palm Beach State College, for example, and TPA staff to dive into the details to understand why were there so many fatal and serious accidents on the corridor, particularly for bicyclists and pedestrians. It's a function of the demographics of the condition and the design of the roadway facilities. Lots of users on bike and foot with a corridor designed for high-speed traffic without the meaningful accommodations for bicyclists and pedestrians to travel along the corridor or cross it. And so the TPA's leadership in that regard helped us find a multidisciplinary solution with a new design for that corridor that introduced much better bicycle and pedestrian accommodations, mid-block crossings, better bus stops. All of the transportation providers are benefited by that because everyone wants a safer corridor, but it took that extra level of analysis to be able to get into the details of the condition and really refine the improvements so that one, our transportation dollars could be expended the most efficiently. Two, we could improve the overall multimodal function of the corridor. And by doing that, accomplish the other objectives that the TPA is charged with undertaking, right? Better economic development, healthier communities, more walkable conditions desired by those that are not just transit dependent, but somebody who might want to walk, right? So expanding the range of users. So that's kind of an easy example. God knows I have plenty more, but you have other people in the room.
Yeah, that was outstanding. Thank you very much for that detail that you provided. Of the participant from the SFRTA, because I know you do a lot of work, and not to just delve in, just to find out more information. And I know you do a lot of work with that. Do you have any examples that you work with TPA for the Bright Line or for other activities?
Are you looking for Vicky from SFRTA, or
Yes.
would you like to continue with other public comments?
Okay, yeah, I'll circle back with do you have quite a few in queue?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. We have Chair Reed, and then we have Rafael Clemente,
I'll
and
go with
then,
next.
okay,
And then
perfect.
gentlemen that came in as well.
Perfect, thank you. We can go to Chair Reed and then circle around.
And who is the person?
This will be Chair Reed.
This is the mayor of Palm Beach Gardens, who's the chair of our governing board and also the chair of our transportation disadvantage local coordinating board.
Okay, oh, great.
Good afternoon. I apologize that I'm not there. I did plan to attend in person today, but my schedule was interrupted. Again, my name is Chelsea Reed, and I am the mayor of the city of Palm Beach Gardens, and I'm proud to serve on the TPA as the chair, as well as what our executive director just mentioned, as well as the chair of the Transportation Disadvantaged Local Coordinating Board. I also am the vice chair of this at SEFTAC, the Southeast Corridor Planning Area, which is Miami-Dade and Palm Beach, as well as for the TPA, sit on the MPOAC. And so I'm going to keep my TPA hat on first.
Okay.
And so what I'll say is that the TPA has done an extraordinary job making sure that our community is informed and connected. It's part of the mission and vision. and a mission and vision. And what you can see is, even if you just go onto their website alone, I think that's a great sort of an outline of what's really, really happening, whether it's the weekly newsletter that is sent out to a tremendous amount of people, the social media blasts, or even to the next level, which is the interactive map, which is something that I share with, we have 1.5 million residents. I'd say a good amount of them is taking a look at this interactive map, whether they're trying to understand what road could possibly be built in their backyard, which is probably the most important thing that we do, is to let people know what's happening around them in transportation and mobility, to understanding what boundaries are around them, which are they in the municipality or otherwise. So, and then also chairing the TPA, having been, before I was elected, I was on the Citizens Advisory for 2 years. Now I've been a part of the board for 3. I'm always impressed by the staff, and especially this last year or so, things have gotten organized better than ever. Now I'm going to take off my chair hat and put on my mayor hat and let you know that the TPA has done a phenomenal job reaching out to not just our county, but all 39 very different municipalities to educate us about Vision Zero, about complete streets, about what we need, whether it's just an ordinance for Bike Month or it's a high-level grant application. The amount of help and intelligence that is available at the TPA has been peerless. So couldn't say enough great stuff. And then also just our meetings are always really well attended by the public. But that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I very much appreciate your time and the comments that you provided. I believe we have somebody in the room. Yes, sir.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rafael Clemente. I'm the Executive Director of the West Palm Beach Downtown Development Authority. We are a small special district that serves the downtown West Palm Beach area, and we happen to be the TPA's next door neighbor, almost next door neighbor. So I walked over on my way out of the office to stop by today. The Downtown Development Authority, as a special district, serves many roles, but among them is mobility and transportation within the district, and then, of course, advocating for access to and from the district. As an urban place, a rapidly growing urban place, transportation, mobility, multimodal access here, parking, these are all issues that are at or near the top of our list of priorities. And the TPA has been for a long time, and is now, I'd say, even better than ever, a very effective and important partner in finding those solutions. I'm not sure how familiar you all are. I see everyone has an FHWA name tag. I'm not sure how familiar you are with our region or with this downtown, but as our place has evolved, downtown is doing what downtowns do. It's growing, it's getting denser, it's getting higher population, more development, more investment here. And the rest of our region is sort of playing catch up. And the TPA has been the tip of the spear in leading the conversation about us creating a multimodal transportation system. Selfishly speaking, as the DDA director, that's of significant importance to the continued success of this downtown core. To give you just a little bit of context about the role the DDA plays, historically, going back to the creation of a new urbanist infill lifestyle center, now known as the Square, but previously known as City Place, that kind of created a whole different center mass in downtown away from our main street. The DDA implemented the trolley system at that time, way back in 2000. Since then, we've worked on programs like bike share. We've done continuously programs to improve walkability in our downtown. But whatever we do, we can't do that as an island. So if people are having a challenging time getting here from the region, the thousands of people that come here, many thousands of people that come here every day to work, that multimodal system is an absolute necessity. And the TPA has been leading that conversation as not just creating the vision and the plan, but also the advocacy, which is a very significant part of it. In fact, even their beautiful mural on the building is an advertisement for multimodal transportation. So as a very small partner, it's reassuring and it's empowering to know that the leading transportation agency in our region is going in the direction that I think I can speak on behalf of our board is the right one. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clemente. Does anybody have any questions or provide information?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, sir.
The next
Thank you. Appreciate
person
it.
who had their hand up was Stephanie Thoburn.
Hello, I'm Stephanie Thoburn. I am the chair of the Vision Zero Committee, but I am also, in my most active role, the Assistant Director of Planning and Zoning for the town of Jupiter. I wasn't expecting to comment today, but given that you're basically grading the TPA, I wanted to give you a municipal look at what they have done for the town of Jupiter. In addition to the advocacy roles, safety, and education programs, they also provide opportunities for grants. For us in particular, the TPA has provided walk audits on specific areas on Indian Town Road. Indian Town Road is our major commercial corridor. It is a 6-lane highway essentially that runs from I-95 all the way to A1A towards the beach. And it goes and it changes character along the way. We've had several issues and fatalities on it, but we took 2 walk audits with TPA staff because we broke down the corridor into 2 areas, and we use that information in particular to gain better education on what was happening with the pedestrians so that we could work better with FDOT. And we've used that information when we move forward. We're currently undergoing a project with FDOT in order to add turn lanes and improve mobility on the road, but while also not impacting the pedestrian safety. The third walk audit that was that occurred was for residential areas, one of the older neighborhoods in town. It surrounds an existing elementary school that is historic. It is called the Pine Gardens area, and in that we walked the streets because the demographics of the surrounding community is predominantly Mayan, and so the 90% of the school are pedestrians, come from bicyclists, pedestrians, and some of them cross Indian Town Road from the north. So we did a walk audit in order to determine the need for additional sidewalks, lighting, what's safe, where could we do crosswalks, where should we put in mid-block crossing. So, I mean, not only are they looking at the region, but they're also helping individual municipalities, towns in our case, in order to help us with our individual problems and give us the information and the tools we need to bring them forward. And then on top of that, they give us ideas to move it forward. So it's not just something on paper. It is something that we could then look towards for grants with either the transportation alternatives or the local initiative grants. As a matter of fact, the town submitted one for East Indian Town Road for a complete street, and we received approval for a grant for that. But unfortunately, given politics and all those things, it didn't move forward. But the process and the understanding and the education is there. Just a little thing that also came up about this too. I mentioned children walking. We had a severe fatality on Indian Town Road in that location where I was telling you about. It had a fatality and a serious injury last year. No, it was in March of 2 years ago. And because of the TPA, and the information, we were able to work with FDOT to get the signal light shields to address glare, because we found that fatality was caused by, unsafe conditions associated with visibility of the signal lights. So just trying to give you a more detailed information of what they do, not only, they and as well as awareness bike proclamations and Vision Zero advocacy.
Thank you very much, Ms. Stephanie. I appreciate your comments.
Next, we have Yash Nagal.
Hey, good afternoon. My name is Yash Nagal. I'm the Interim Director of Transit Planning at PalmTran. PalmTran is the bus public transportation company in Palm Beach County. And really over the years, the TPA has done a phenomenal job, moving the cause of public transit, making people understand what public transit does for the community, educating people on the benefits of public transit, health benefits, economic benefits, all of that. In particular, over the years, they've helped us prioritize funding for bus shelters, ADA accessibility, moving towards our goal of electrification, so funding electric buses. Their long-range transportation plan, of course, highlighted the key corridors that would benefit from transit, the 561 plan, which also made it into our transit development plan. So that's been extremely helpful. Going more specific, they've done planning studies on Okeechobee corridor and US 1, both of which are key corridors with the highest, two of the most highest ridership corridors that we have. So these are some of the key examples that they've helped us fund over the years, and they've really helped us sort of paint a good picture for public transportation in the region, and they continue to form a really good vision and potential for what public transit can do.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Nagal. Did I say it correctly? Thank you.
Next, we have Councilman Hamara. And Councilman, you'll need to unmute yourself.
I think I figured it out. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. My name is Jeff Hamara, and I'm a councilman in the village of Royal Palm Beach, first and foremost. But I've been a member of the Transportation Planning Agency Board over the last 6 years, both an alternate and also a primary member. I've also been the past chairman of the Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council that you heard from earlier today. And because of these two perspectives and because of the work that both of these agencies do, by the way, they both have extraordinary staffs. And this comes from 22 years in the Washington, D.C. area. And I like to brag, I've seen a lot of the Beltway Bandits work that doesn't even come close to some of these fine studies that these two organizations put together. But my real point here is that having the opportunity to actually look at the growth that's coming at us in record numbers. I mean, I've seen numbers like 100,000 additional people coming to Palm Beach County in the next couple of decades. And we feel the growth every day. And it's not just on the East Coast. The center of the county is now being significantly impacted. In order for us to take this growth and make sure that it becomes an opportunity to stay vibrant relative to thrive, rather than suffer what I saw up in Northern Virginia from an overwhelmed transportation system that results in traffic congestion that just impacts the quality of life. We're in a position right now where we can actually do some long-range planning with the right kind of expertise that we find in TPA, and especially leveraging their 561 project. I'm not sure I have exactly the right title. It kind of moves around a little bit, but the idea of enhanced mass transit, especially serving the central part of the county, which is where the village of Royal Palm Beach is located, gives us an opportunity to not only mitigate the impact of all of the additional people who would otherwise get into cars, but also to be part of that solution. And that's where Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council has come in for us. They have developed what I consider to be a study that will serve us well for years, if not decades to come, taking a big picture look at the interdependency of growth, economic development, and transportation. So we are being challenged, but at the same time, we're in an extraordinary place. We're being able to actually utilize the synergy of carefully planned land use with carefully planned transportation choices is really something that we rely heavily on TPA for, and also, like I said, Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council.
Thank you, Councilman. Appreciate those comments.
Next we have Mo Al Turk.
Hi there. My name is Mo Al Turk. I represent Palm Beach County Board of County Commissioners, Engineering and Public Works Department. I am the director of the Traffic Division, and I am currently the chairman of the TAC committee with TPA. We work closely with the TPA at all levels, and there are several good examples of good collaboration between us and them. I would say one of the biggest projects that we worked together on was the street lighting project on State Road 80, which expanded over 18 miles of the road and included more than about 1,000 lights. Our involvement in it, even though this is a state road, was that we had to come into an agreement for operation and maintenance of the system once it's built by FDOT on that road, and the TPA staff in particular played major role in bridging the differences and helping us come to an agreement with the FDOT on that. Also, we always get big projects approved through the LI and the TA programs through the TPA, and we have actually monthly periodic meetings between the TPA staff and our engineering department staff to coordinate and all the efforts and follow up on the projects that we of interest for all of us. We, even though, as again I said maybe earlier, we have sometimes different vision on some of the things that are done at the planning level with the TPA, with the staff, but we work together closely and we collaborate, and we appreciate that working relationship with the TPA staff and the board.
Thank you. Thank you very much for those comments. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anybody else on the line, Amanda?
There are no further public comments at this time.
Okay.
SFRTA has their hand up.
Okay. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Vicki, you'll need to unmute yourself.
Okay. Sorry,
Thank
thought
you
I
for
had.
circling back.
Oh, thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Vicki Gutana speaking on behalf of SFRTA. That is the South Florida Regional Transportation Authority. And we operate Tri-Rail, which is a commuter rail service throughout the Tri-Rail region, Tri-County region, and we operate 18 stations on that corridor. You'll find no shortage of people who will speak highly of the TPA. They've collaborated and been a great partner with the SFRTA. In particular, two projects that is really advancing the work we do here in transit. The Local Initiatives Program, which is funded rolling stock for the SFRTA, and that will serve current service and then also our expanding service. So we're very thankful to the TPA for working with us on that. And then also our Northern Layover Facility, which will be a storage and maintenance facility, and that again also will help to increase our capacity and our service and our planned expansion service. So, and there are many things we could say further, but those two are current and things that we're working with the TPA on a regular basis. And thank you for the opportunity to comment.
Thank you very much for circling back. I appreciate that. Is there anybody else on the line?
There are no further hands raised online.
Okay, we'll wait a while, but
Oh, and I'm sorry, it looks like one attendee has raised their hand.
Hi
Pam, you
there.
can, okay.
Hi there, Kim Delaney again from Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council. To follow up on the SFRTA's comments, I think it's worth noting the leadership the TPA has provided in the area of rail safety and quiet zones and accommodating rail service in an existing urban pattern. We have a tricky county in Palm Beach County with the diversity of land use. And the eastern core of Palm Beach County is the most urban, it's the oldest. It's a string of historic downtowns along the East Coast that were all railroad towns when Henry Flagler brought the railroad down. And each of those small towns grew up to become a fairly extensive mixed use community. We have two rail corridors in the region. In Palm Beach County, we have the SFRTA running on what is the former CSX corridor, now owned by FDOT, the South Florida Rail Corridor. And we have both Brightline and FEC Railroad running on the FECR, which is the Eastern Rail Corridor. And accommodating additional rail service in the region is always a challenge. It's very confusing for the public to understand who's supposed to do what with respect to rail safety and quiet zones and station planning and station access, new train stations. So it's hard for the public to understand the players and their responsibilities. So I think something that's worth noting is the TPA's investment in raising the level of knowledge amongst the public. The elected officials have a tricky time because citizens expect elected officials to know everything, and no one can know everything. And usually the elected official isn't an expert in all the nuances of transportation planning, but the public expects that regardless. And so the TPA has really invested in raising the knowledge amongst its elected officials, both on the board and across the county, and across all the different municipalities, and in allowing both the staff and agencies like ours, who works in partnership with the TPA, the time to get into discussions with the public and workshops with the public, just to educate about rail safety. Quiet zones are a high public policy priority that exists in the region because of the proximity of neighborhoods to the rail service that's running on both corridors. Quiet zones are also tricky. And again, that level of education that the TPA offers, I think is something that's worth noting in particular. We have rising responsibilities in the region to do our best job of communicating. And the TPA has really been at the forefront of that. And I think that all parties would agree that the messaging is getting out, thanks in part to that leadership the TPA has been providing. So I didn't want to miss an opportunity to call that out for your attention.
thank you so much, Ms. Vicky. Appreciate it, those comments. Is there anybody else for now on the line, Amanda?
I'll give it a second, but right now there are no raised hands.
Okay, just really here, it's great what I'm hearing. I'm hearing, you're unraveling transportation in the area and the walkability audits and the interactive maps. I've looked on those, and those are very, very impressive. And the trolley system. So it makes me want to learn more about the area. So, I mean, that's great, so far that what we're hearing from the public and from public officials and senior officials. So that's very commendable. So far we appreciate that. And I guess we're scheduled to stay here till 6. We'll stay here for a bit longer because we'll want to afford that time to to any persons that want to provide their comments. And this is great. I mean, everybody knows that people could comment and not have we have an empty room, but still people can comment. So I guess we'll wait for a while to see if anybody comes back on.
Hi, I was just going to add that we've heard several comments on the TPA's efforts to educate the public and the elected officials on different transportation issues. And I think I've heard the quiet zone several times. Can we use this opportunity for you to tell us a little bit about what you're doing on those?
Sure. So with the introduction of Brightline into the region, both phase 1, which was from Miami to West Palm Beach, about the heart of our county, and now phase 2, as they've worked to continue their service to Orlando, we, as Kim Delaney with the Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council, we partner with Treasure Coast to really work with all the municipalities along the way on rail safety messaging with Brightline, getting the word out for safety. As Kim mentioned, it's going through the downtown, the hearts of downtown, so a lot of high pedestrian car areas. And we've held workshops. We've also assisted them with Treasure Coast on helping the local municipalities navigate the paperwork with the federal government to establish quiet zones. So that's a lot of effort to try to raise that awareness and educate and navigate through that process. We've also helped host workshops with FRA on rail safety. It's definitely a huge topic here in our region. The introduction of high-speed rail service, in addition to Tri-Rail and Amtrak and the freight trains that we already have going through our downtowns, has introduced a lot of great benefits, but also challenges with those growing pains as we continue to grow as an area, more people, but also, the trains stop the cars from going through because the gates go down, and people sometimes don't want to wait for the train, and other times they're just crossing the track. So a lot of education on rail safety has been a big topic here in our county. In terms of some of the other initiatives that we've been trying to raise awareness of, obviously we heard Vision Zero. Our board passed the Vision Zero resolution. We have a Vision Zero action plan, and now our focus has been trying to get our local municipalities to pass Vision Zero resolutions, making that commitment at the local level. So we've had a huge push in that, especially over the last year. We've gotten several municipalities to make that commitment, and now go after federal grants that are available, such as Safe Streets for All, to be able to create their own Vision Zero action plans at the local level to really have that impact at all different levels. We actually have a workshop coming up at the end of this month to help those municipalities on next steps to create those action plans, and promoting a lot of pedestrian and bicycle safety at the same time as promoting more physical activity, encouraging that kind of behavior, such as doing walk audits, raising awareness of the challenges so that we can find solutions to implement them. And FDOT has been an amazing partner. I know we haven't heard from them, but Christine's here and Tony as well. We have a weekly meeting with them now, trying to collaborate and move things forward. So. Yep.
Thank you, Valerie. Erica, do you have anything to add or to ask? Okay. And you mentioned FDOT. I mean, we'll give them an opportunity to talk if you like. I know you're going to be in the meeting tomorrow. However, you'd like to talk, say anything.
Sure, that would be great. So I think, under Valerie's leadership, we've had kind of a renewed partnership with the TPA. We're probably the most unique partner, as we have both a partnership relationship, but also an oversight relationship. So we, like Valerie mentioned, we have worked closely with the TPA. We have weekly meetings so that we can either talk through items, just to see where we want to go, just so they understand kind of what we're doing with either programming their priorities or, working through funding issues, that sort of thing. So that has been really great over the last, I'll say 15 to 16, 18 months. That has been really great. I know they have a lot of new staff. The new staff has been really great to sit with us. We've had some workshops to work through some different things, just so that we all are on the same page, have the same understanding. So that has been really great. Tony, anything that you want to add?
Well, I just wanted to add that, as Christine mentioned, they've been great partners, as a taxpayer myself, I mean, it makes me proud to see that they always have the public's, interest, first. They're always asking the right questions. And they have the right balance of, pushing when they need to push and asking when they need to ask. So, my experience with them has been very short-lived. I've only been here a year, but, very proud to work, alongside them, so.
Great. Thank you, Christine, and Tony. Appreciate it.
And Carlos, Chair Reed does have her hand up again online.
Okay. Thank you, Amanda.
Hi, Carlos. So I just wanted to mention the other thing that the TPA has done is really made it much more clear for municipalities seeking to get grant funding. We don't have a dedicated tax like a lot of other areas in South Florida that can go towards what we need to do to improve our roadways for the safety of our residents. So utilizing the LI grants, TA grants, and other grants for state road funding as well. We're able to, for example, again, in Palm Beach Gardens, we're able to make our roads safer, utilizing bike lanes, mixed use path, sidewalks and things like that, that we could not tax our residents for necessarily, but they need it and they deserve it. And it's given us a great way to make sure that we can still take care of everybody without that dedicated funding source that we don't have that here in the county. So the TPA is actually filling in a gap for safety and making sure that residents can get around without necessarily having to get into their car.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
those comments. I believe we have a member of the public. Would you like to provide some comments? We'll wait. Well, yeah, we'll wait. No, didn't want to put you on the spot. Kathy, you have anything?
Sure. Valerie, as you know, we've worked with FDOT to do regional meetings around the state on the new bipartisan infrastructure law and the potential grant opportunities out there for potential recipients or applicants for the different grants. So it sounds like you're doing some outreach also locally with some of your communities to provide just to let them. Can you tell us what type of information you're sharing and how you're getting them ready to either apply or receive these grants?
Sure. So we, unfortunately, personally, I wasn't able to attend the last the regional workshop because it was at the same time and day as a board meeting, but we promoted that widely to our constituents, to our committees, to our board. We also, in our Transportation Tuesdays biweekly newsletter, have really promoted that. Also, the new grant navigator tool that USDOT has put out there. We've been promoting that both in e-news. At our meetings, we have a liaison or a director's report before the meeting starts, and we promote that in that capacity. We did have a webinar kind of workshop to talk about through all the grant opportunities as well, and really just trying to raise awareness of these different opportunities, especially if there's one that's a right fit. We've provided multiple letters of support for our partners, SFRTA, Brightline, Palm-Tran, our county, and our local municipalities that have applied for some of these grants, RAISE grants, Safe Streets for All grants. We've the city of West Palm Beach as well, a Vision Zero action plan. We've supported them in those ways for those efforts. Yep.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Rebecca De La Rosa, City of West Palm Beach, Mayor Keith James, Chief of Staff and Economic Development Director. Thank you for creating the space for us to come and speak to you today. I was rushing over here after leaving a city commission meeting where we were approving some affordable housing, which really speaks to one of the first opportunities I had to work with Valerie and the TPA, and that was to look at the affordable housing units and how that relates to our mobility plan. So thanks to that leadership, thanks to the leadership of Valerie and the TPA, we have been able to discover a lot more than we thought, and provide this for input for the city to consider. So in addition to that, there's also a collaborative relationship that we have entered, not only with biking, but also with many of the different funding opportunities. Thankfully, the TPA brings to not just the city of West Palm Beach, but all municipalities. So with that said, I am extremely grateful that we continue to have the lines of communication that are always open, and there's always an opportunity for continued discussions, whether that be with staff or directly with the executive director herself. Most importantly, I think that it's imperative to mention that we also have been in coordination with the Downtown Intermodal Coordination Workshop Series that was developed by the TPA. And so we continue to have multiple conversations, not only with the stakeholders that were originally brought to the table by the TPA, but also in the city of West Palm Beach with a public partnership with a nonprofit that was created to talk about mobility issues. So just simply by opening up an opportunity for a municipality to become involved has also enabled us to bring in other stakeholders. So thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate your comments very much.
Carlos, there is one more public comment online. We have Claudia Salazar from Palm Tran.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Everybody has talked about the planning efforts and all the coordination that they have done with the TPA. And now that people have mentioned can bringing those projects to reality and the assistance. When you look at their website, you'll see the different committees that they overhead, everything else that goes through the TPA. And I just want to give one example of the Commission for Transportation Disadvantage. So that is a state funding, again, for those who do not have public transportation or any kind of transportation available to them. They're able to run those quarterly meetings for that committee that comes here again to be able to see what we're doing with the program and plan ahead and approve our rates, get our program going for the next year. All of that is organized by the TPA. We have participants again for many different agencies and the state that comes to, again, allocate those funds, but they need all that organization, those quarterly meetings to keep up with the program and allocations for upcoming years. Again, that website shows all the other committees, and for every one of those, the TPA is the centerpiece that organizes it. Again, to notify the public, to be able to have those public meetings, to get together, for those boards to get together, for us as the recipient to be able to also show what we have been doing, also with the involvement of the public. So again, it's a holistic thing. So you have also the planning staff, but in the end, I get to put my projects on the STEEP program because I have that close relationship with the TPA to be able to apply for our regular allocations from the FTA and also for local programs, just like the local initiatives that they manage and the state programs like Transportation Disadvantage. So again, it's full round of all the services that we get to secure with the TPA for grant projects, which is where I get involved.
Ms. Claudia, thank you very much for those comments. Appreciate it. Okay, we have another comment.
Yes. Cherry, if you're ready whenever.
Okay, great. Now that we mentioned with Claudia speaking, I have to just speak up again to discuss the TDLCB, the Local Coordinating Board. It is not just a pleasure to collaborate with Lou Ferry from Palm Tran about our local coordinating board, but it's a working board. You're right now of the board, I believe 8 of us in the next few weeks are going to be riding on the bus ourselves to actually experience what the riders are experiencing, as well as a series of phone calls. And I think in this last year, if it shows you how much everyone's gotten so engaged in the TPA to try to make a difference for the mobility of our residents, this board has never chipped in more before. So I don't remember the exact numbers, maybe Valerie or if Lou's on the call, can let us know. We have a great liaison at the TPA. Greg Gabriel has really helped us make sure that we can be a proper working board and experience what the riders are riding. So it's not just sitting around a board table and passing resolutions and ordinances. We're actually getting out there to experience what our residents experience. It's pretty wonderful, actually.
Thank you once again, Mayor. Appreciate it. We'll wait a few minutes. We're close to 6 p.m. and we'll give opportunity to anybody else online to provide any closing comments.
I'll chime in. In addition to, wow, I really want to give a heartfelt thanks to all of our partners, all the players, everyone who's joined us today to provide comments. It really means a lot. And great to hear from all of you. To Chair Reed's point, really, well, she's been an amazing leader for our governing board and our TD LCB. In addition to getting more active board members on our riding the paratransit service, getting involved in the evaluations. We have, as an agency, embarked last year. We did a mobility options video to raise awareness of the different mobility options that we have in this county. And Melissa Murray did a great job, and as well as Cassidy, we're putting that together. And then now we have. We're actually doing mobile tours and taking our board members and members of the public with us to experience these different types of transportation. We visited the port, we visited the new Brightline station, and this Friday we're going on a transit tour on Palm Tran and SFRTA, partnering with them to actually ride the service and learn how to ride it and learn more about the different services. We'll be visiting the airport as well, and I believe next month in May, to go. You know, we do a lot of transportation planning, but we want our members of our boards and committees to actually experience the things that we're planning for. So those have been some of the activities to get our folks more engaged. They're open to the public as well. And in addition, we're currently doing brief videos on how to ride. For those who cannot join us in person, the videos will explain how to get a pass, how to ride the different various modes of transportation in our county.
Thank you very much. And I think we're coming up to the hour, 6 p.m. And once again, thank you everybody in the room. And Amanda, thank you. And I appreciate all the efforts that the staff does for these to do these hold these meetings. And for the folks online and in the room, here's my contact information, and this is also online. You provided it online. For any reason, you could send a comment or a question to via email or call me or snail mail. And also TPA will be accepting comments for 30 days, and that information is on the website, or call Miss Melissa for any questions. All right, well, thank you so much. I appreciate everybody's time, and have a good night. Appreciate it.